Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the Mercenary Tier 9 heavy tank, the Hardcase. Now what is the Hardcase? Well, the Hardcase is a T10 chassis with a T54 turret and gun, or should I say one of the old school T54 guns. And that is because it has 219 penetration on its AP with the 330 heat pen. So again, it's one of the very old school T54 guns. I think actually that's buffed as well, because I think back in the day it had the proper old school one where it was only 201 pen. And yeah, you've got 219 pen, which is a little bit sad, really, for a Tier 9 heavy tank. But then you also have 330 heat pen, which is absolutely filthy. So, clearly, you know, what you lack in one department, you can just gain by pressing A, and you've got disgusting heat rounds. Add to that, you don't have the most ammunition in the tank ever, especially if you miss shots like that. Then I run 15 AP with 30 heat because, to be honest, the amount of times I've been in lots of games, especially with the amount of Tier 10 games you see in Tier 9, the AP just doesn't cut it, and then I'm running out. I end up running out of the heat shells because I don't have enough heat shells in the tank, so I just decided, screw it, we're loading the full heats, or not the full heats, but we're loading more heats than we do have the standard, so that we can have a good time, and, you know, if we start to run out of ammunition, at least we've got penetration to deal with most of the tanks we're going to face. But realistically, this tank is also a meme. This tank is a massive meme. Why is that? Well, you do have the T10 chassis, which isn't the best heavy tank chassis in the universe, because it's, you know, it's a heavium. I did a video on the T10 the other week. That, you know, it's not got the best hull armour in the universe. You can side scrape with it pretty decently, but you had mobility. Whereas the Hardcase slaps a ton of spaced armour on it, and I mean a butt ton of spaced armour on this tank. Because, I mean, you've got like 40, I think it is, or 50, looking at it, sorry, you've got 55mm of spaced armour on the side. 55. And that is spaced armour, because you've got like 30mm of spaced armour and then another 25mm of spaced armour, which means that the side armour on this tank is utterly ridiculous. And I'm not kidding when I say it's utterly ridiculous, because it just bounces some silly things. And this tank is all about how you angle it. So when you see me driving this tank, you will never really truly see me driving front on at the enemy, because the weak spot of this tank is the front of the tank. The upper and lower plate is the weakest section of this vehicle. You want to be doing exactly what I'm doing here. I'm quite happy to drive on sideways on in front of these people and go, try it. Naturally, it is basically, it's fairly impervious on the side armour to take in penetrations, but you can see the little angled bit above the spaced armour, that can be penned. You do have to be careful that you're not giving people an easy shot at that, but as you can see, I'm quite happy to just sit sideways on in front of a Patriot just like this. I'm happy to sit in front of many tanks just like this in the Hardcase, because it is completely about how you angle this tank, and you can just pull off the most stupid of bouncers, and you can have the memeiest of games. You'll see that in the next replay. And I mean, I think one of the last, I haven't made many videos on the Hardcase. I think one of the last videos I had was pre-6.0, and it was literally me driving to the middle rock on Prokhorovka and just sitting there with my face hugging the rock and going, try and pen me, everybody, and they're just all boinging off the side armour non-stop. Honestly hilarious. That's the kind of memes you can do with this tank. And yeah, obviously the penetration does suck a little bit on the standard round, but you do have the fantastic premium pen. And yeah, you do go at 39 kilometers an hour if you were to run a powertrain. Your mobility isn't too bad. You can just have a pretty damn decent game with this tank. You do have to be careful though, naturally, that you don't overdo it, because it's one of those things where the spaced armour on the side is phenomenal, but occasionally you can take on the wrong kinds of opponents, and obviously it won't go very well. So, I mean, I've bounced E4 APCR rounds off this thing if you angle it correctly, but if you give an E4 your flat side, like, you can do it against some of the Tier 8s, and especially against the Tier 7s, and you can do it against quite a few of the Tier 10s as well, but you've really got to pick your targets. If you go flat with your side armour, they've got so much penetration that a lot of the time they'll still go through anyway. So what I run in terms of a crew on the old Hardcase, well, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, and Track Mechanic, as well as Rapid Aim. Track Mechanic to get my tracks back on as quickly as possible, because I do brawl in this tank. The 3 gun perks to make sure this gun is as good as possible, because it can be a little bit derpy with that base accuracy of 0.35, although it's not the most inaccurate of guns. But I do want to make it as good as possible. And yeah, rapid aim because the twitch reverse is pretty slow on this tank. And then in terms of equipment, I run the advanced loader, the powertrain, and optics. Optics to be able to spot for myself, the powertrain to be able to get to my top speed, because it is a very heavy tank because it's got all that spaced armor, so it struggles to get to its top speed without it. And then the rammer, well, the advanced loader, because you want to make your DPM 10% better. I mean, you could drop that for the vertical stabilizer, or the gun stabilizer, sorry, the powertrain if you want to, if the gun annoys you, but, you know, it's completely down to you. And we see we finished that first game with 5.5k damage, 1800 assistance, 3.3k blocked, a bit of only 1,000 credits made because we fired a fair bit of heat. Ace Tanker, the Steel Wall, the High Caliber. Yeah, just generally a really nice game for the Hardcase and a pretty nice game for the platoon in general in that game. And we're on to the second replay, and yeah, we've got the pretty damn good matchmaker, but that, to be honest, the pretty damn good matchmaking is where the memes are truly phenomenal with this tank. And this is why I'm showing it, because you can just have some stupid games, and this is where the fun of the tank is, for me, to be honest, because if you were to take it seriously, it's not that fun of a tank. If I'm totally honest, there's many more tier 9 heavies that I'd rather take. But if you take it for the memes, yes indeedy, memes. This is what we like, bouncy memes, because honestly, there's going to be a chaotic moment, or should I say few moments in this game, that just, well, I can't describe it particularly. You're going to have to watch it. So we're on the second replay, and the first replay was on Fisherman's Bay. The second replay is on Swamp. And on Swamp, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push towards the position at C7 so that I can try and spot people crossing up the 0 line, get shots into them, and, you know, hope that they bounce on my side armor as they cross. So we boost our view range with food so that we're making it so we've got more likely to spot them. The Emil 1951 gets spotted. We go for the shot into him, and unfortunately it bounces off his upper plate. And again, to be honest, this is without the gun stabilizer. You are seeing that this gun is actually still pretty decent without the gun stabilizer, so it's not really that necessary. You could quite easily just keep the powertrain and have the ability to try and get anywhere near that top speed. So there's 3 of us on this flank, and there seems to be a fair amount of their team. We're bounced a decent amount already. This M103 has gone for our heavy tank. So we get a shot into the M103, and he is currently getting our side. We're just being careful of the Scorpion, and the Scorpion fired HE at us? I feel like it was HE. But we're just trying to help this T-34-3 as best we can. Try and keep the shots raining into this M103 while he's distracted, and try and at least shut him down. The Scorpion's still looking at us, but again, with the armor on this tank, I'm not really that bothered. Now, with the Scorpion in the position he's in, it is kind of deadly. And there we go, we do get penned. I don't think we got penned by the Scorpion there. I feel like we got penned by the other tank in the distance. And yeah, it is risky to take the shot from the Scorpion there, because the Scorpion was actually higher than us, which meant that he could probably shoot down on the side armor instead of shooting. Well, he could basically shoot down on the side armor that was behind the spaced armor quite easily, and that's unfortunately what I think happened, but from the other tank that was on our right. So here is where it's going to get chaotic. We're now 1 tank on this flank against at least 5. There's at least 5 people over here, but we're currently facing 4. The Scorpion and the 3 T-34-3s. And this is where it goes a little bit crazy. We do actually have support from a heavy tank and a medium tank that have come, well, the heavy tank that's come back at D4. And these guys are just trying their best to get shots into this hard case. And you can see I'm trying my best to keep my side armor onto them. I don't want them to get my front because they can pen my front, but not my side, and these guys are just making runs at us and failing. So the T-34-3 tries to get a shot into us, we just RBRT the shot into him. Just one more shot will do and we'll get rid of this T-34-3, and we get rid of him. Now the other T-34-3 is coming. You can see the Emil 1951's coming towards us as well, so we're just doing our best to keep our side armor towards these guys, get the RBRT into the T-34-3, and I want to get rid of this gun out of the game, so I ignore the Emil, because he's not near my front. So I'm not bothered about the fact that he got round my side and rear, because he's not near my front. And now we've got rid of the T-34-3s, we're going after the Emil 1951, and this poor guy's like, what do I do against this thing? Well, unfortunately, my friend, nothing. And he's not managed to pen us once. And in what was that? The shortest up, we bounced the heat shell. 330 heat shell off the front of his turret probably should have gone through, but I think we actually hit his gun, which is why it didn't go through. And we shut him down. And just like that, in the blink of an eye, what was that? A 1 minute 50-second spell, we went from like 2k damage to 5.3, and we blocked 9.6k damage. Yep. Can we block 10k? Hello, Mr. Scorpion, shoot me. He does. He bounces. 10,000 blocked. Let's go. Thank you very much, Mr. Scorpion. And he got shut down by the Emil 1. Now there's only 3 tanks left on the enemy team. There's a medium tank that's currently spotted towards the south, who's just gone. It's the Earthshaker. There's a 110 somewhere, and the artillery. I've just looked at the map and gone, 110? He was going up the 0 line. Either he's gone back towards his base, or he's climbed up. And it's like, oh, there he is. Hello, Mr. 110. Shoot me, bro. He tries to shoot us, hits the floor. We fire heat straight into his turret front. It bounces because, well, we could actually pen him with heat through the turret front, but we'd have to hit the right spot, probably right next to his gun if we're honest. So we're just trying to angle ourselves or maneuver ourselves into a position where we can actually get a shot at this guy. I'm not too fussed about giving my front at this moment in time because I'm just trying to get up there because at the minute we're racing the Emil 1 and I want to try and get there and get some damage. And if I was to go backwards, because this thing doesn't have the best power to weight because of the amount of space arm that's slapped on it, and because it is a very heavy tank, which is why I run the powertrain, I want to keep my front going up so that I've got the best speed. So the 110 disappears, and it's like, okay, he's either run behind the house, or actually, he's come round the other way. So you know what? Okay, I think the 110's run down the hill. We're going to go and try and intercept this guy if we can. Because clearly the Emil 1's not found anyone. So let's use our speed downhill and see if we can find him. There he is. We go for the shell straight through his upper plate with heat. He bounces off our side, or he fires heat into the space arm, which is never going to work. We fire another heat round straight through his upper plate because honestly 330 heat is dirty. The artillery hits and I'm thinking, can I get the kill before we cap? And the Emil 1 ends up shutting him down. And finished the game with a really great total for the Hardcase there. Pretty damn Memey game with the armour. And finished with 4 kills, 6.3k damage, nearly 11k blocked. The ace tanker, the high caliber, the definite steel wall, 1869 base XP. A really great game for the Hardcase. It just showed its memes with that spaced armour. And it showed you exactly what you need to do to keep it angled. You do not want to give people your front. Angle it at such an angle as you were seeing in that game and keep giving them your side armor. Not flat on, but at a weird angle, and for the most part, they will bounce all of their shots. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!